Hello. What's going on in this picture? Graduation. Most high school graduates finish school with big plans for their future, which includes going to college and having a successful career. Drunk driving is never okay, and when you decide to get behind the wheel, you not only put your life at risk, but you also put others' lives at risk as well. Hello, my name is Constance, and the woman in the picture is my friend Tamika Harrington, who I grew up with. 4 years ago, in Tamika's freshman year in college at Georgia Tech, she was hit by a drunk driver as she was crossing an intersection as she was walking on campus. So tonight, I want to tell you about the dangers of drunk driving and persuade you not to do it. Also, certain precautions to take. Everybody in college has either participated in drinking or knows somebody who does, so everyone needs to know how to protect themselves and their loved ones when alcohol is involved. First, I'll explain Tamika's situation and how she was affected by a drunk driver's poor decision. Next, I will explain why this is a problem. Finally, I will give you simple solutions to this problem. So here's Tamika's story. I remember the day I found out Tamika had an accident. I had just got off work and her mom was calling me. Tamika's mom called me crying about the disturbing news of how Tamika was hit by a drunk driver the night before. The person who was driving was not only intoxicated to drive, but also under the influence of drugs as well. Tamika was hit by an SUV driven by Samuel Miller, 34, who had a blood alcohol content of 0.208. That's twice the limit, at about 2 a.m. The incident occurred about 1 a.m. according to Tamika's friends. Tamika was in a coma for about 2 months and we were unsure if she would come out of it alive. The whole experience was so surreal. I had never had someone that close to me whose life was in danger before. Although Tamika struggled while in the hospital to get well, she managed to survive the terrifying accident. But now her whole life has changed. Now that you know Tamika's story, I'm going to tell you why drunk driving is such a significant issue in our society. During the phone call with Tamika Harrington, my friend, the victim of the drunk driving accident that occurred September 21st, 2013, she explained to me how her life had changed. Tamika loved to dance and was a very talented dancer. She also taught other people how to dance in her class. After the accident, Tamika no longer enjoyed it because of the pain in her legs, and it was also difficult to dance at times. Tamika had to walk with a cane for a year, but has finally managed to walk without it. Can you imagine being 18 years old and finding out that you would need a cane to walk with? Although Tamika has greatly improved through physical therapy, she still walks now with a limp and still suffers from excessive brain damage. Tamika is very smart and still is, but her personality has been altered. She is still the same girl I have always known, but now she is more sarcastic and makes jokes about her situation, which makes people uncomfortable. She feels very defeated because although she has some improvement, she can continue to make it through her physical therapy. She will never fully gain back the motion of her arms and her legs. So Tamika decided to take a break from physical therapy. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, approximately 1/3 of all traffic crash fatalities in the United States involve drunk driving with blood alcohol concentration of 0.08 higher. In 2014, there were 9,967 people killed in these preventable crashes. In fact, on average, over 10,000 people have died each year between 2010 to 2014. In drunk driving crashes in every state, it is illegal to drive with a BAC of 0.08 or higher. Yet one person is killed in a drunk driving crash every 53 minutes in the United States. Many problems happen from drunk driving, especially the lack of judgment, according to the CBS News. In 2004, Christine Alexander got into her car intoxicated. She said she didn't know just how intoxicated she was. She also had a blood alcohol level twice the legal limit. As she was driving home from a bar, she crashed into her boyfriend, Richard Hales, and he died, and she went to jail, according to CBS News. That's why it's so important that you drink responsible and don't take the risk to drink and drive. We see that there is a problem, but how do we solve the problem? The solution to this problem is simple. Just don't drink and drive. Don't do it. Just don't drink and drive. Use a designated driver and don't drink. If you're driving home that night, call a cab. Report a drunk driver when you see someone on the road. Here are a few signs that may help you recognize drunk drivers on the road. 1. Problem maintaining proper lane position. Speed and braking difficulties. Vigilance problems. Judgment problems. I have offered a couple of solutions to decrease the amount of drunk driving today. And I think they will work because if you are faced with a situation where someone who's impaired and is trying to drive drunk, the best way to prevent it is to make a plan for a sober designated driver and make sure everyone sticks to it ahead of time. Also, taking public transportation, calling a cab are always ways to prevent drunk driving. Since alcohol impairs judgment, it's imperative that you come up with a solid plan regarding how you will get to and from where you need to go after you've been drinking. If you report a drunk driver on the road, you can possibly save someone's life. You may feel like it may be inconvenience at having to report a drunk driver, but these things will be saving the lives of drivers and others that are at risk of getting hurt. So now that I've told you Tamika's story, why drunk driving is a problem and how we can fix it, you know now about the dangers of drunk driving, and I hope I have persuaded you all to never drink and drive. Second, I explained why drunk driving is a problem in society. And third, I explained that what we can do to fix this problem. So let's look again at Tamika's picture. A high school graduate on her graduation day. So happy about starting her journey off to college. Please, don't ever compromise someone else's future. Don't drink and drive.